because we're going to take all that we learned
in more than 30 years of innovation
and use it to change everything.
For the first time,
you and your TV are going to have a relationship.
Wait, what?
Go to music. Watch TV. Yes, that fast. Did you see how instant that was?
Okay, but are there any video games you can play on it?
Now I'd like to introduce for you another amazing thing you can do on your Xbox. Skype.
This
Skype
can't
on
be
Xbox
real.
One connects you to-
This generation hasn't exactly been the greatest for the house of Xbox. And if you ask me, that's largely to blame on them forgetting the number one rule with gaming consoles. Simply, software moves hardware. If you want to sell systems, you better have some kick-ass games to play on them. But no, out of the gate, the Xbox One aimed to change the game, I guess, by focusing on making the system more of an entertainment center. That initial unveiling will always go down in infamy, showing how you'll be able to hook up your cable TV to the Xbox One and watch shows just like you could if you hooked up the cable box directly to the TV. Oh, and you can voice command the Kinect to change the channel. Games were definitely not the focus of this thing out of the gate. In fact, I think the argument can still be made that the best exclusive this system has to date is the Rare Replay Collection. A collection of 30 retro rare games like Conker, Banjo-Kazooie, Battletoads, etc. With this generation about to come to an end, that's not the best indicator of a strong games lineup. Certainly the exclusives were few and far between, and when they did come, more often than not, they were mediocre or worse. Now, when Phil Spencer took over as the head of Xbox, there did seem to be a shift in mentality over there. We saw the release of the Xbox One X, the most powerful system ever made, which they never get tired of reminding us of. And while ditching the Kinect, the cable hookups, and refocusing back on actual gaming was the right decision, the problem still remained. We need games to play on it, to show off this power. Even with third-party games, right, that are Xbox One X enhanced, you still run into this parity problem a lot of the time with the Xbox and PS4, where third-party devs don't typically want to go all out and take full potential of, say, like the power of the X, or even the Pro. They just want to kind of get a version that runs well on both and be done with it. That's why on the PS4, for instance, the games that people typically point to show the potential of the system are the exclusives. God of War, Uncharted 4, Spider-Man, etc. You want these titles to be the cream of the crop because these are the games that are going to move hardware. And Sony has done a tremendous job this generation with that on the PS4. But now I would say the Xbox One finally has a game of that caliber in Gears 5. Let's just start by looking at this game. It's certainly going to go down as one of the most visually impressive titles of this entire generation. Note that while you're looking at footage captured on the Xbox One X, this is with the system set to 1080p, not 4K, as I don't have a way to capture 4K content off my consoles. And it's not just the graphical quality, it's the overall design of the game. Some awesome environments. That the snow area from Act 2, at times I had to do a double take, like, am I playing God of War? So much went into the fine details, as you can see, like from this factory setting. And that attention to detail is oftentimes used to make areas downright creepy. And one of the best ways, in my opinion, to know this one is something special is the debates and comparisons I've seen people doing online. Like, you got like the PS4 fanboys coming out going, oh, it's not as good looking as Uncharted or God of War. And it's like, you can have that discussion, but just the fact that you've got haters coming out of the woodwork to make these comparisons gives the title credibility. Like, you didn't see people saying, oh, Crackdown 3 doesn't hold up against Spider-Man, because it didn't need to be said. Everyone knew Crackdown 3 sucked. And honestly, it feels just great to finally see this sort of arguing going on again. With Gears 5, it almost feels like there's a legitimate console war happening again. As the Xbox games of this generation, as I mentioned, haven't really deserved to be compared to the PS4 exclusives until now. And graphics will only get you so far. We got to talk about the actual gameplay in that. Story, I'll say, is a huge mega upgrade from Gears 4. I really didn't care for the Gears 4 campaign at all. It felt like they tried to take things in a way too serious and somber direction. The new cast of characters felt flat and boring. This time around, they've been livened up a bit. I still don't think this new crew comes close to the characters from the original trilogy. Even as the grumpy old men of this saga, they still feel more full of life than the newcomers. But overall, it goes back to having more of that action movie feel of the older games. Enemies are very satisfying to defeat. You've got this new robot friend Jack that can be upgraded with abilities that can give you like extra armor, turn you invisible, and he can get out there himself and electrocute enemies. So this adds, a new element to gameplay that we didn't see in the previous games, as you have to decide like which abilities to use and when. Going over to the online modes, the competitive deathmatch type stuff is good. If you like that gameplay, you'll definitely enjoy it here. But to me, I'm all about that horde mode. I still remember when we were first introduced to this in Gears 2. I've said on my channel before that Halo 3 was definitely the game I spent the most time playing last generation. But Gears 2 was up there as well. And that's 100% thanks to horde mode and how my friends and I would land that shit all night. So much fun. And it's only gotten better over time. If you're unfamiliar, you're just trying to survive through waves of increasingly difficult enemies, but as you kill stuff, you gain currency that you can spend on building your defenses with like turrets, barricades, and that, or by upgrading your individual character throughout the match, as the enemies will not only grow in number, but in power, increasing in health, accuracy, damage they do, etc. So you need to keep pace by upgrading your side as well as possible. So this is a title that's worthy, in my opinion, of being up there with the great games of this generation. But the problem is, it came too late for this generation. Let's be real. The Xbox One needed games like this out of the gate, and we're really only getting something like this now, when the next generation of Xbox is going to be launching next year? Surely the PlayStation 5 will also release around the same time, so it's safe to say this generation is almost over. Most people have long made their choices on which platforms to pick up, and in terms of what these modern consoles are capable of, this, once more, is a standard setter. But yeah, as I was getting into, the problem is that the game came out too late. Just like PS4, we should have had several releases of this caliber as we head towards the end of the system's life. And I do believe that that is the main reason why the Xbox One struggled so hard. But it's not all doom and gloom for the Xbox brand, as when one console cycle comes to an end, that does mean, in fact, the next one is beginning. And as is the case with every generation, new consoles are effectively a restart. You can end with one of the most popular systems of all time, like the Wii, then follow it up with the Wii U, one of gaming's biggest disasters, and then follow that up with the Switch, a comeback story for the ages. Anything can happen when we get new consoles. As I said, I think the Xbox team has certainly course-corrected in recent years, but they have to continue to do so. And the key, as it has always been, will be high-quality games, games that people who don't have an Xbox or a gaming PC, salivate over. Could you imagine, especially with all this renewed hype with Smash, if, say, next E3 Xbox comes out and they're talking about their lineup for the next generation, and they show us a AAA level Banjo-Kazooie 3, Banjo 3E? I mean, try and tell me that wouldn't at least pique the interest of, say, Nintendo fans, Switch owners. And that's how it works. And Microsoft, you have the IPs. You have the teams. No doubt now, after all these studio pickups they've done especially. I mean, Ninja Theory, Obsidian. Obsidian's new game, Outer Worlds, is basically, hey, remember when Fallout games were good? The game. The Xbox Game Pass service is easily the best of these current subscription models. You have everything you could want to crush it next gen. I truly believe that. Just don't forget, you need the games. You need more titles like Gears 5. And with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Gears 5 in the comments, as well as the course of the Xbox One. How do you feel about where they are now compared to where they started this generation? Hey Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of Gears 5 and the course of the Xbox One. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter at Johnny Zakari. And join my Discord, ChiGuy and Friends. Link to both in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.